IVM.
TFG Football is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Geek Fruit with fellow and television geeks Tejas, Jishnu and Dinkar as they discuss the world of science fiction and nerd culture.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the TFG Indian Football Podcast. Chiranjit is joining me finally. It does not feel alone anymore. Good to have you back, Chiranjit. Where are you currently?
I am where it's all happening. I am in Bhubaneswar. It's way too hot over here. All the stuff we've been saying on the show where we discussed the weather, the heat, the overall unpleasantness of this city and how it's completely unfit for playing football. It's all true. It's all true. I went out yesterday. I was going to the press conference. I was attending a practice session. I had to put an ice pack on my head afterwards. And it's not even funny. It's not even funny. And there are power cuts, by the way. If you like me and you think like, we 3-4 din ke liye rehna hai, let's stay at a cheap hotel, you're gonna get bugged by power cuts like crazy. And it's not even surprising. It is busting AC like crazy. So where are you gonna get all that power to supply for all those air conditioning machines going on around the place? Even the freaking press conference room has 4 ACs. So that tells you, man, it's a small room. That tells you what they have to do to keep it cool. And as obviously we know, not everybody is keeping their cool right now.
You talk about everything indoors, but it's when it's football, it's open. It's even if you add a small 2 little drink breaks in this 90 minutes, sometimes even 120 plus minutes, it does not help. You're playing, you're burning yourself, and I think just like Tony Dowale said, the last game was played in the oven. Now that just shows this can be the furnace. And plus, you're expected to perform as well. It's not just stand and just pass the ball around. You have to play to your potential, and it's a knockout match. No, even if it does not, you don't get a result in 90 minutes, it's going to extra time and then penalties. It's just so taxing on the players. But somehow, I don't know why Bhubaneswar is chosen as a venue when you have other places slightly on the better side. You can choose something in is Mumbai better than that? I don't know, but I think at least Bhubaneswar can do better. Yeah.
I mean, I had some conversations with some people who are part of the organizational team which made this all happen. They were like, I mean, it's either it's a cost issue or it's availability issue or it's a security issue. IPL is going on. So a lot of cities just go out of the window because of that, because the police force is interested in going there and they will not give permission for a second tournament in the city. Then there's the cost issue in some places. It's just way too expensive. And then you have the requirement of multiple practice pitches. And that's a huge factor here. That you need to accommodate so many teams who are staying at the same place and they need to practice every day. You need a lot of good surfaces available nearby. And not many cities do tick off all those marks. Even Guwahati is being used for AFC Cup and all of that. So I think they were left with 2 choices: Kochi, Bhubaneswar. They picked Bhubaneswar. Apparently Kochi is worse. The weather is worse than Bhubaneswar. So make of it what you will. We are here. We're stuck, and we have to play through this. And very helpfully, because of IPL, the matches are now kicking off at 4 p.m. when it's unbearable. I had to take a 1.5 kilometer walk at around 4:30. I wished just give me a bathtub full of ice, like MMA fighters do after training, like athletes do. They just take that ice bath. That's what I was longing for. after making that walk. It's
Yeah, I think
unreal.
everybody involved in the match does take an ice bath, and probably it should be open for the spectators as well. On that
Yeah.
note, I think we'll head into something that has been burning more than the matches on the field. Something that happened off the field in the tunnel. I think the tunnel itself is a furnace itself. I don't know what went wrong. FC Goa versus Jamshedpur FC. Chiranjit, did you manage to get some insights on what exactly went through, what kicked or what sparked that six red cards in what was that, 15 minutes of break? You have 6 red cards, and none of them being seen by the spectators. What went on over there?
Yeah, they're calling it the Kalinga calamity.
Okay.
I just came up with it, but it sounds really nice.
Yeah, we can
but
move ahead. Great title. Thank you. Please.
No, it's like a classic horror show. In a horror movie or something, whenever they are in a haunted house, they discover something underneath it. There's a basement, and from the basement there's a tunnel. And the moment they enter the tunnel, okay, now shit is gonna go down. And the same thing happened here. At the tunnel, apparently brawls broke out, man. I mean, and I'm piecing this together from first-hand or second-hand accounts of it. It's very sketchy because apparently there is a CCTV footage, but it's not publicly available. The disciplinary committee has seen it. The match commissioner has seen it. The other people who were involved with the process, the security, they have seen it. But the footage is not going to be released, most probably. So what we know is what people who have either seen the footage or they have seen the incident are telling us. So from, let's say that, when you speak to 5-6 people about an incident, and it all happened very suddenly. So the account varies, So from what we are hearing is that at first it was the Jamshedpur FC players, and I'm not talking about whatever happened on the pitch, like, this is after the half time when the action is moving towards the tunnel. And apparently, and this is corroborated by a newspaper report in A Samoy as well, that the referees are done. The referees are not in the scene. They have gone into their room. And at this point, a brawl breaks out. And allegedly, it's the Jamshedpur FC players, coaching staff and all that stuff who are the instigators. Something has led to something. Somebody has said something which has escalated the situation. Apparently, somebody gets pummeled with punches. And then you have FC Goa players retaliating. And this time it's the other way around. Punches rain on the other side. Punches and kicks and pushing around. And then, the people who are around come in and try to break it up. And the match commissioner sees this. This is what the newspaper report, as well as 2 people who saw the incident, say, is that he went into the referee's room. And of course, nobody knows what's going on inside the referee's room at this point. But from what we can piece together is, he told the referees about the incidents, and they came out and they went into the dressing rooms of FC Goa and Jamshedpur FC and told them about the additional red cards. Okay, and this is where it gets sketchy. Can you actually do that?
Yeah, I can just imagine there is a team talk going on. This is what we'll be doing, and then all of a sudden there's a referee waiting out there. So and so players, please come out. There's something for you, and there you show a red card. 1, 2, 3, and just everything goes for a toss there.
You're out. Yeah, and that would explain why FC Goa turned up late, because they were considering not continuing the game.
Okay.
So
as a boycott.
Who knows? Either they took too much time, or they were just completely distraught by what had happened, or they were confused whether this can actually happen, because it's a confusing situation. It seems like the entire episode was executed in a very haphazard, panicky manner, which is why there are so many holes in the story. There's so many unanswered questions. Right now, the 6 players. I'm not going to go into the details, because there are certain questions raised by some individuals about whether all the red cards are justified. Some are justified, obviously. Some are not. Apparently, one of the FC Goa players, Sergio Justo, was not involved in the brawl, but maybe the CCTV footage is grainy or something. But who knows what happened? He's suspended basically. Just because somebody has claimed something, we don't know whether that's completely confirmed to be true or not, especially when the arbitration has gone to the appeal process and the disciplinary committee has looked at it, and they have seen more than we have. Right? They have seen the footage, they have seen everything. And if they decide after all of that, all of these people are guilty, the decision is upheld, we just don't have enough information to say that, to second guess them. Right? So, let's say that stands. But then again, if it's true that the decision was given at the dressing room afterwards, who knows? Now, it's so difficult because even I'm confused about what is right, what is wrong in this situation. Of course, if people have seen some players engaging in conduct that's unbecoming, it's violent, then it's only justified that they are not allowed to continue the rest of the match. But if there is a procedural error and who's seeing it and who's making the decision on who should be sent off, then we have a problem, because now we're down to the technicalities. Now it's the situation just gets murky. And it should not happen, because then anybody who's been punished has the scope to just question the process. Just like Edu Bedia did, he called Super Cup a joke, a circus, or something like that on his Instagram story. Let's leave that portion of it there, because that's not even the only controversy that we have going on. This whole thing started with Brandon claiming a false goal, right? The ball had gone out of play. Brandon brought it back into play and sent it into the net. The linesman did not spot that the ball had gone out of line, and it seems that the referee thought it was a goal, and that's where the whole thing started. Jamshedpur FC players got agitated, and I'm hearing this from two eyewitnesses, is that somebody spoke into the referee's earpiece, the referee and the linesman's earpiece, that somebody who had seen the replay, that hey, Dad, the ball has gone out of play. That's what the replay shows, and apparently he was told, tell Subrata to take the goal kick quickly. And at this point, the referee, the linesman, they're all confused. They panic, and they say, it's not a goal. And the referee even makes that third umpire wala sign. So there's actually very little question that replay input was taken. And it's an open secret that's what happened. And because he was confused and a little bit panicked, that's why he said, that's why he asked Subrata to take that goal kick. Now, if he was calm and if he had a full grip on the game, he would know that this would have been a corner for FC Goa.
Yeah.
Because Subrata had done the deflection, he had sent it out. But come on, man, he's put in a very bad situation over there. And if somebody's telling him you made a bad decision, you have a chance to correct it. Maybe I'm thinking, if I'm in that referee's shoes, I would take it. If somebody's saying that the replay shows otherwise, and I'm about to give a wrong goal to a team, if I have the chance, I will correct that decision, because nobody wants that. On your conscience, on your record, nobody really wants that. So that's what, the But then again, you're not supposed to do that, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to use.
So what ideally should have happened, because at any moment it's the referee's call, and the referee will consult the linesman. If not, he'll consult the fourth official. If none of them have a clear indication of what exactly went through, it's a referee's discretion to go ahead with his feeling at that time. And ideally, it should have been the goal should have stood, because that's what the referee saw and that's what happened. So although for the television replay, the viewers, the ball has crossed the line and it should have been a corner kick or at that time, but the referee at that moment is in charge and his call is the final call. So but
here's what I disagree. I think VAR should be an option that is available.
We are too far from the VAR at the moment. I think it's
it's so easy. If somebody is already doing it, why not make it official? Like, it doesn't take that long. If you have a game with 2 water breaks, that does not disrupt.
No, VAR again comes at a cost, and when we are talking about Bhubaneswar being selected as a venue for even one of the reasons being cost, so VAR also adds additional cost burden.
Yeah, but how much did this cost? We practically used VAR twice, that we know. Mohun Bagan Lajong game, that goal, it's all in all likelihood somebody saw the replay, and that's why the referee changed the decision. And this happened in the exact same manner. Yeah. The decision is given, the players are protesting, then referee tells everybody to move away, and he goes to the linesman and they are talking. At this point, the television viewers see the replay. It's very clear that the referee's decision is wrong. Then suddenly the referee changes the decision and tells everybody, hey, this is what happened. So, and in the second instance, we have that third umpire on a sign.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. I don't know which book that came out from, but again, it should have been.
It's there in the highlights package. Like ISL had tweeted the highlights video. You can actually see him even there. Because the first time I missed it, because I was so bewild at what was happening, I had missed him making the sign, but it's there. You can see him making the third umpire sign.
All right.
I'm asking, how much is this costing?
Yeah.
If it's not costing anything, then VAR is not going to cost that much. Please just. It's a myth that a VAR system costs too much. If we don't even have it, we are using it. We are the king of jugaad in the world, so might as well, So yeah, I think it was a very Indian moment of using jugaad. But there should not be any complaint that the decision was corrected, because ultimately you don't want a wrong goal to change the course of the match. But then again, if you have a procedural error, you give everybody the right to complain.
All right. Yes, Chiranjit, we can go on that VAR angle. I think that will be another separate podcast. But on this, we should take a break. And on the other side, we have 2 semi-finals to preview. So it's 4 teams, 2 each from I-League and ISL. The first one being East Bengal taking on FC Goa, already a depleted side there, and Mohun Bagan will play Bengaluru FC in the second semi-final. We will talk about that on the other side of the break.
Did I just catch you on your way to work? Or did you end up pulling an all-nighter? Let me guess. You have a packed schedule for the day, the week, and probably the month and the year. That's a lot for your mind to handle, don't you think? This buzzing chaos also brings tons of negative thoughts. Am I right? Try spinning that bottle in a positive direction with me, Chetna, on the Positively Unlimited podcast, every Monday on IBM Podcasts. It's time to change your life one alphabet at a time.
Welcome back, guys, after the break. And as we said, we will be talking about the 2 big semi-finals of the Hero Super Cup 2018. The first of which is kicking off today at 4 o'clock. East Bengal take on FC Goa. Khalid Jamil is going to be facing Derek Pereira's side. Obviously, Sergio Lobera is on on leave, I would say. He's not part of the squad. He's not traveling with them. So interesting fact over here, Derek Pereira and Khalid Jamil have a connection here. Derek Pereira was the coach of Mahindra United when Khalid Jamil was a player over there, and it will be great to see both of them making that handshake. And Chiranjit, what do you think about this match? FC Goa already losing out so many players, and to add more trouble to them, they've got so many players who are nursing injuries, and probably it will be tough.
About the injuries, I think Sanaya is out. I think there is Lanzarote will probably be out. The two others, it's not that serious. I'm pretty sure they will start. And I can say they will start because they need those players to make 11 players. So it's a complete disaster. Derek Pereira was something else at the pre-match press conference. He comes in and he's looking at everybody and says, before we start, let me say my players were targeted for defending themselves. We have so many suspensions. So many have already left because ISL was enough. And this is not what he said, but I'm saying so many players left.
You need to take a cut. You need to take a cut what Derek Pereira said and what you're adding to it. It goes out as a quote from him.
I think we're gonna put up a video of Derek Pereira talking and with me doing a DVD commentary on it. But look, he basically said that we may start with 8 players, but that was yesterday. This is today. 11 a.m. was the time of the fitness test. I don't have concrete results from there, but I'm pretty confident, given what I heard about the nature of their injuries yesterday, they are gonna start 11 players. There's going to be 1 substitute available, and they may not take any substitutes at all. They may actually play the entire game with 11.
Is that for real? Is this for real? Is this for real? 1 substitute on the bench, and probably if the game enters the extra time, it's going to be tough for FC Goa.
Yeah, it's going to be. See, I would have, on a normal circumstances, and one of the questions that was asked to Khalid Jamil, Khalid Jamil came after Derek Pereira, and a reporter said, "Sir, ये बोला Derek Pereira ने, तो East Bengal तो पहुंच गया ना final में." And it was a funny question, but it almost sounded like that. The only reason I'm not counting FC Goa out is because of Derek Pereira. Because you never count Derek Pereira out.
Yeah.
Even if he's fielding 11 kittens in the semi-final, you don't count Derek Pereira out. He may have some strategy of bewildering the players with the kitten's cuteness and getting a goal in that process. This is one of the early rules that you learn is that if Derek Pereira is the head coach of a team, you don't take it lightly. You don't take it. You never count it out, and that's what Khalid Jamil said. He said that it's not going to be easy for us. They will try their hardest to put us off our game. And Derek Pereira was my teacher. He knows what I'm going to do. And I was his student. I played under him. I know what he's going to do. So it's going to be 2 very familiar minds going at each other from the sidelines. And that's what we might end up seeing. It's going to become a chess match.
Yeah, it really is a game of 2 master minds here. We know how Khalid Jamil can use his resources at his best, and we've already seen Derek Pereira do it. Implementation into various ways. Salgaonkar, DSK Sivajians, and then FC Goa Pride. Churchill Brothers. How can you forget Churchill Brothers? He saved himself from relegation. He saved Churchill from relegation there, and the circumstances that he was in, and even without getting in new players, he was just able to transform a team totally. So you can watch out for that strategy being played in the match as well, and that is going to be interesting. 1 substitute on the bench, and all eyes on the East Bengal bench. Just so many choices to have roll-in players, and I think this game is even more interesting than the second semi-final. Chiranjit, I know you'll disagree to that, but
no. Here, let me say something that might be controversial. if Sergio Lobera was the head coach right now, I would have said East Bengal has won this. The only reason I'm
now
saying
you're
this
putting
is
down them. Now you're putting FC Goa down.
No. The only reason I'm saying FC Goa has a chance is because of Derek Pereira being the head coach. So yeah, but here's the deal. Koro is there. We know they're going to pass to Koro. We know Eduardo is going to go up there and man Koro, and that's what it's going to be. Derek Pereira said we're going to play attacking, and in the end, I think that makes sense. FC Goa have lost players, but they're attacking. The sharpness of their attack, it's still not gone. Okay, it still has that firepower. It can still score from any position, any moment. And if you start fast, get a goal, and then drop back and defend the lead, there's a possibility that they might pull through. And then we have a very interesting final in our hands. No matter who wins the second semi-final. What do you think? How do you think this game is going to play out?
No, I don't think it's going to be easy for FC Goa. No, firstly, because the lack of substitutes on the bench. But I have a feeling it's going to be more than one substitute on the bench. Probably they'll get in a couple of players fit. By the time we see the lineups coming in, and that will make it even. And then you have a game on hand when you have the best of players on the field and you have the best of minds on the sidelines. So that becomes an equal contest. So for me, it's not going to be a one-sided match by any means, irrespective of the number of players available for selection. So it's going to be tough to score goals because both teams, will not be sitting on that one goal lead. They will want to get in that 2-goal cushion, and because it's a knockout game, you can't be relying on that one goal lead, and especially Bhubaneswar, it's difficult to get in goals. So one goal is always keeping ourselves on the toes. Nobody wants to do that. It's just too much work defending a one goal lead rather than scoring 2 goals and then being more comfortable.
Yeah, I think more than the East Bengal team, the thing that Derek Pereira will be scared of is having a 120-minute game. Yeah. They will want to get this done in 90 minutes. There's no way they hold up nicely. Even let's say they just pull through and this goes into penalties and then FC Goa win. They will be so tired ahead of the final.
Right.
And that's not and with so little substitutions available, there's no way that they will want to play 120 minutes here. And who knows? Khalid Jamil being Khalid Jamil, maybe he just clamps down on the game and turns it up.
You can expect
the last. Yeah, the first hour of extra time. 1, 2, 3. Speedy middle players coming in, and suddenly the wings are just so fast that the FC Goa defense is like, what the hell is happening? And then we see action happening. It's slow.
I don't see this game going to extra time, and probably an East Bengal win. I'm leaning towards that because although you have a near equal strength of FC Goa in respect to the players, but I think with Amna and Yusa on their sides, it's going to be tough to get past them.
Yeah, and the motivation factor is real now because you have players berating the tournament, berating the officials. There's a feud going on with the organizers of the tournament and the team. They went all the way to the appeal about it. The match officials might be antagonistic towards the FC Goa players, and just injuries, suspensions, all of that you take into account. FC Goa players might just think like, let's get the hell out of here. What the hell are we doing? So if somebody says that FC Goa has a motivational problem, I mean anybody else, all the teams that got knocked out in the qualifiers or anybody, Chennai FC or FC Pune City, especially FC Pune City, anybody says it's a motivational problem, I will just laugh at them like, aren't you even professionals? But this I can understand it, just we're not motivated. But but what better to prove yourself as a player than winning this match, to show to your fans that no matter what happens. And FC Goa have had troubles in their past. That ISL final controversy from 2015. what better way to prove yourself than winning this match? That under extreme pressure, extreme adversity, you still prevail. And what a story that would be.
Yeah. Yes. Chiranjit, your scoreline prediction for this game?
Prediction, I think East Bengal will take it only by hair's width. It's going to be pretty tight.
It is going to be tight, but for goals, I think East Bengal will get in the goals. And 3-1 is my prediction for an East Bengal win. Let's head on
It's going to be a one-goal game either way. Whoever wins it is going to... I don't care if it's extra time. I don't care if it's penalties or normal time. It's one goal.
All right, we'll see that. And moving on to the second semi-final, the big game. Bengaluru FC take on Mohun Bagan. Just imagine if East Bengal coming from that side and Mohun Bagan coming from this side. What a game. What a final this will be. But it's Mohun Bagan again, and they know they are up against Bengaluru FC, a side that has proved themselves. They've just proved themselves that they are the real, visionary club, I will say, because they can play in two tournaments with two equal team strengths. Mohun Bagan have just not been able to do that. Chiranjit, your take on this?
Yes, we've seen that the Mohun Bagan team does not have the depth that Bengaluru FC has. We've seen Bengaluru FC do this before. I think the best example we had was the 2016-17 I-League season, when Bengaluru FC were playing in AFC and I-League. So were Mohun Bagan, and the way they were handling both tournaments was pretty obvious. So yeah, it seems like Bengaluru FC have managed themselves pretty well, given the travels they have to make, given they have to come here and play. And I'm pretty sure, like, after playing the last game, you can bet that after the AFC Cup game was over and players were told, "Chalo, it'll go to Bhubaneswar." Again, we're back in there. But it's a big game. It's semi-final. There's going to be a few thousand people who will travel, mostly from Kolkata, but a dozen or so West Block Blues supporters are also coming. It's going to be the meeting of two old enemies. And whenever Mohun Bagan and Bengaluru FC have met, no matter under what circumstance, it's always been a story. It's always been a complete blockbuster, because I think this is the real modern Indian football rivalry that has captured everybody's imagination. They've met in I-League, they've met in Federation Cup, they've met in AFC Cup, and now they're meeting in Super Cup. It's everywhere. It's like the classic feature of any tournament involving Indian clubs. So it's brilliant that it's happening again. Mohun Bagan have the head-to-head over the years, but the only time they met in Odisha, that was in Cuttack last year, Federation Cup final. Bengaluru FC beat Mohun Bagan, and a lot of Mohun Bagan fans are still sore about that. They will see this game as a revenge match. A lot of players have been retained from that, and most players have gone away. But the coach was there as an assistant coach, and Shankarlal Chakraborty, I'm pretty sure he's biding his time. He wants to prove himself, because there's no bigger. Let me just put it this way: like when you are in East Bengal or Mohun Bagan, winning the derby is one big feather in your cap. But whatever, if you're the head coach of any club in India, beating Bengaluru FC is like the thing to put on your resume.
Right. You
want that. So everybody strives for that, and Mohun Bagan have done that in the past. There's no way anybody can just go out and pick a winner here. I know Bengaluru FC looked a better team on paper. They have been dominant in ISL. It's almost, this fixture is almost reaching the level of Kolkata Derby in terms of unpredictability, because form, past records, they all go out of the window. It gets down to that moment. And so yes, I'm not going to predict this.
You're not going to predict. So, okay, Chiranjit, one question to you. Who are the players? Give me two players from each team that you feel will be stand out.
Kevin, the previous game when we were discussing Mohun Bagan and Shillong Lajong, you said it was all about keeping an eye on Dika. And I said, that's not going to happen, and that's what happened. By the way, I was right. The goals, 3 goals, none of them came from Dika. But this time, I think Bengaluru FC will have to worry a lot about how Dika is to be contained, because Akram Mograbi, he's not a great finisher. We know that, right? And against a defense like Shillong Lajong, he can get 5 chances per game, and he can make 1 finish. But the fact is, against Bengaluru FC, he's not going to get 5 chances. He's going to get 2 chances max. And but going by how he has worked in the past, he has not really been that accurate. So Akram Mograbi, unless he just suddenly gains who's the guy with the arrow? Freaking hell, I forget my Avengers. There's that guy with the arrow who always finds the target. The least interesting Avenger ever. I'm saying like a classic fan. But yeah, unless he gains that kind of accuracy, there's just not that much of a headache. So Dika is going to be the main source for Mohun Bagan's goal hopes. So Bengaluru FC have to put a tab on him. And the other guy, I think, is going to be Cameron Watson. Because he's spent so long in Bengaluru FC. He's made himself known in India as a Bengaluru FC player. And now he's spending a season in Mohun Bagan. He's meeting his old friend, his old friends, his old team. And he will want to prove himself against them.
Yeah.
So, watch out for that guy as well. What he supplies, how he handles. For Bengaluru FC, the 2 important players, you're going to have to say Sunil Chetri, because this is a big game and he's expected to deliver in this match. And I'm just going to go a little bit unconventional. I'm going to say Subhashish Bose. Let's see how he holds up, because he's going up against his favorite club, his childhood favorite club, his family's favorite club. And when you're in a situation like that, again, a lot of spotlight is on you. And he might be the guy who gets charged, other than if you have John Johnson and Wanan, if those guys take care of Dika, Subhashish Bose is going to be charged with taking care of the likes of Nikhil Kadam, or maybe if Azharuddin makes an appearance, he will go up against him. Those are 2 old friends. We might see a nice little side storyline unfolding. Maybe he goes up against Rainier or Bikoke. We'll have to see. A lot of possibilities are there in this game for Subhashish. So these are my 4 players.
All right. So, opposite team connection from both your picks, Subhashish Bose and also Cameron Watson there. All right, let's see. So, predictions for this game. You said you are not going to be predicting, but I will give my predictions because I am a neutral fan over here. I think Bengaluru takes this, but it's just going to be tight. It might even go into extra time. That's what I feel. But with goals, I don't think there'll be any shortage of goals. Probably a 2-all to head into the extra time, and probably you'll see a penalty finish. All right, and that does bring us to the end of the show. This was long. A lot of action right from Bhubaneswar there, and Chiranjit will get us live updates of whatever is developing in this in the red card story. If something does come along. Chiranjit, your final thoughts. Who do you think is going to make it to the finals?
I want Mohun Bagan and East Bengal to be there, obviously.
That makes it an all I-League final. No, that won't happen. You want some ISL team also to be there. So then it makes a balanced good work.
To be frank, if you want ISL team shining story in Super Cup, it's too late for that, because you have Mohun Bagan, 2 I-League clubs. You have Bengaluru FC, who were born and built in I-League. They carry over that value into ISL. And FC Goa, again, they were built under the umbrella of Dempo. So they even have that I-League DNA. So it's too late if you want an ISL story in Super Cup. All the 4 clubs that are there, have I-League in their DNA. So I just think if there's a Kolkata derby in the final, we will see a huge amount of people coming in. You know, it will be almost a full stadium, and it's going to be the biggest blockbuster of the season too. Imagine a Kolkata derby to end the season in a final.
All right. So on that note, we are towards the end of the show, and if you're listening to us on YouTube, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, and do let us know what you think about these upcoming games, and also the controversy that happened, and the fines that were met out to all 6 players plus the coaching staff of Jamshedpur FC. And you can also download IVM Podcast app, which is available on Android and iOS. It has many such awesome shows like the TFG Football Podcast. Do give it a try. And the podcast is available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and many other podcasting platforms. And till another episode, guys, take care. Enjoy the semi-finals. Come back to us next week.
As you can see, we have a podcast listener in his natural habitat. Billions of years of evolution have led him to this point. He's on his way to work, and listening to podcasts makes his miserable day better. He will now head to work and use all his knowledge to communicate with other colleagues and possibly future mates. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out all the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.